Hey guys, and welcome back to the Pennies podcast with your host Kia. And this is the podcast where we aim to dispel your myths, simplify difficult financial jargon, and rectify your own personal problems. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you've had an amazing week. Last episode, we were talking all about insurance, how to make sure you're financially protected, whether it's income insurance, life insurance, or critical illness. Spoiler alert, it is for everyone. So don't think you are too young or anything. It is for everyone. Definitely worth to listen. So if you haven't heard that, go back to that episode before listening to this one. But if you have, welcome to this episode. We're talking all about entrepreneurship and being a business owner, something that I know all too well. And as much as there's high highs, there are definitely some challenges that we can learn from. And to do such, I have got an incredible guest with me today who has achieved so much and is going to give us a lot of insight when it comes to business and their personal journey. So without further ado, guest, who are you?
Hi everyone, my name is Priscilla Ohene. I am the founder and author of the Ohene series. I'm also a humanitarian and a public speaker.
What is it that you do? Talk us through your journey and what that's been like.
When I get this question, I think, wow, this is a fully loaded question because I don't just do one thing. And I've never just done one thing. Even if you look at my track record from school, it was never just one thing. My mom used to say, you don't have to sit down. You don't have to just do one thing. It's never been that. So at first, I always wanted to be a lawyer. From the age of 9, literally in year 4, I watched an old show. No one would even remember it now, but Sir John Deed, and it was on BBC One. I'm telling you, wouldn't know.
In my head, I was thinking maybe.
And I watched shows like that and BBC Parliament. So at first, I wanted to be someone like Kofi Annan, who was representing people like that in the UN. I wanted to do that. But then I thought, politics is a bit dirty. It was a bit corrupt for me. I don't know if I'm built up with that. So, but I always had a genuine interest in the law, the government, the state, how it runs, who does what. So it was all, and I loved defending marginalized people. So law was always at the forefront of my mind. Plus, I'm a heavy reader. So it was like, yeah, but I always loved writing. So you can see, I was just like, they all link. So leading up in school, I ended up choosing all the writing-based essay questions, like topics you can think of for A-level. Oh, yeah. Politics, history, English literature, theology, philosophy, yeah. Eager beaver I was, got the GCSE, was like, yes.
Well done, because that's not me.
Girl. But I love them, I'm not going to lie. They challenged me, they opened perspectives and different things. And then, yeah, went to study law in uni, then went to law school, and currently just finished my LLM LPC, my master's. So, yeah, qualified lawyer, everything's going well. So I'm thinking, yeah, law's great. But they were along the journey, uni came. Fun fact, I didn't graduate with my peers. Yeah, so much had taken place in Midlands that's one day another testimony. But during that period of time, it's funny how God works, because then it was like, so what am I going to do? Okay, I felt lost because you've just been following this educational path since the age of 3. You don't know where to go. And so I used to write poetry and monologues and stuff, and the girls, shout out to the girls that I went uni with, they used to read my stuff. I'd be like, oh, can you read that? Like, how do you feel when you read that? What do you think? And they were like, this is good. I was like, really? You think so? I was like, okay. So I then downloaded Wattpad and I became a writer through that. And I met great people through the Wattpad series, met them through Twitter, and I would exchange, like be on a thread with someone and I'll follow up the story and then write and then meet other people and write stories and stuff. And it was great. I was like, wow, this thing gives me a thrill. I was like, I wonder if I could. So I looked into Amazon Kindle publishing, and then I ended up publishing my first book in September 2017, which was just a poetry book. But it did well, surprisingly. I was like, oh, people bought it, people like it. And people saying, okay. And no one knew I wrote, not even the closest to me. No one knew, because writing was my form of escapism. What I couldn't say out loud in a classroom or to a friend or to a family member ended up being a piece for another. That's how I took writing. So it was mine. It was something dear to me. So then I never called myself an author up until probably 2 years ago. Because I didn't think writing, I didn't take it as that talent, that skill, because I'm not a basketball player. I'm not an accountant. I didn't take it as that. But lawyer, I claimed it wholeheartedly. Although, and I can say this now, I definitely did fall out of love with law, because it was like, oh gosh, this is never ending. And I got the degree and I was like, yay. Because finally I did it, but it wasn't
such a long process.
Trust law, when I found that it's the 3rd hardest degree in the world, then I knew, thank God, because I thought I was going mad. Yeah. The degree is heavy. It's heavy loaded. Once you get it, of course, it's good, but it's heavy to grasp at first. But so yeah, I would say lawyer and then an author, but at the same time, recently become an advocate for women's rights. So I'm doing my 3rd year running as a UN delegate participant for UN Women, and I'm loving it. Every year there's a different theme, This year we're doing equality for all women and girls globally. And it's amazing. You get to talk to people around the whole world. We're talking from Sudan to Nigeria to the Caribbean to Asia. And everyone comes together with their opinions of, so how can we help girls achieve things? Is it education? How can we give them finances to digitally see things as the way we do? I tell you one thing, we don't realize how privileged we are. Yes, the UK, we can complain. Our weather is not so great. The people so on the train like to just keep their head down. However, we don't realize what we have.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much accessibility. The difference between us and, let's say, the third world country is opportunity. Mm-hmm. If they had that, they would be higher than us. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how they know, like, put it like this, someone can come from wherever where are you from?
I'm Caribbean.
You're Caribbean. Someone can come from the Caribbean, yeah, from any island. Bear in mind, islands, many, right? You've got St. Vincent, St. Kitts, Jamaica, right?
Dominica.
Even Dominica Republic. So
Not Republic, Dominica.
No, there's two, isn't there?
Well, there's two. Everyone gets it wrong. I'm Dominican.
It's given Congo.
It's okay.
But thanks for letting me know. So you can come from there, right? And maybe that person had the same degree as you. They're going to work twice as hard as you, knowing that they have something to fight for. You're just going to coast by because at the end of the day, you know you're getting a job because you know you're going to work.
Yeah.
But for them, they have something they're fighting for. So their agenda is different. Their mannerism is different. The decorum is different. So different that you even spot yourself different from them. Even how they respect their parents and how they speak is completely different to us. But they have something we're fighting for. Whereas us, we're in the UK, it's all right, mine, I'll get a job. Because that's the case. Because here you're gonna work. It's the community we're in.
Yeah.
But with the UN, I started realizing there's a lot of things such as like menstruation, poverty, not even having access to sanitary towels, or girls being able to go to school because they have to look after whoever's at home, or parents not being able to pay for, hospital fees. Okay, NHS is backed up now. Don't even get me started on that. But do you see what I'm trying to say in privilege?
Yeah.
So I'm doing that again the third year running and I'm loving it. And I'm like, I need to do more.
Yeah.
So there's other things I'm building that I'm not yet to reveal, but I'm doing more. But someone will message me and be like, how do you do it? What do you do? Girl, it's God.
It's God.
Because I kid you not, sometimes I think I'm spread too thin. But I go to bed, there's a dream, there's a vision, there's a prompting. I got to do this.
Yeah.
If I don't do this, I could be delaying myself. I could be delaying a destiny that's in front of me.
True.
So if you told me I was ever going to dive out of law, I would have told you nah. But now I'm an advocate and I'm working in domestic abuse.
Oh, amazing.
Heavy, but love it.
Yeah, of course.
And that's just me giving you a bite size.
Yeah, a little comprehensive breakdown of what you're up to.
Because it's a lot.
Of course. And I think the main thing that I've taken from what you said is there's such a passion behind it. And I think you mentioned about almost like your vision. And I had this thought the other day because I was reflecting on my journey and obviously building pennies to pounds and everything that I've done in these 5 years. And a big thing is that if I put it back to me, if I didn't actually pursue what I'm doing, think about how many people's stepping stone to their dream and vision you're tied to. Like, I think, what if I didn't create Pennies to Pounds and there wasn't a podcast episode or a post that they were meant to see that was meant to get them to the next step in their journey? But now if I didn't fulfill my vision, I've now blocked someone else's dream and what they were meant to fulfill. And there's so many layers to it. But I was like, wow, I wonder how many people's journey I was part of and I was meant to be part of because I started one thing.
And that's a good thing to reflect on.
It's true.
I've never reflected on that.
I promise you, I was in the kitchen the other day making a coffee and it hit me. I was like, if I'd never done this, what if there was someone who was meant to see a post of mine and was meant to do something with their money and say, I'm going to save, and that might have been to get their first business or to help their family out or to pay for their degree. And if I'd never made that post, they would have never maybe gotten there. Maybe someone else might have had to intervene, but it might delay their vision or delay their journey. And there's so many things that are tied to it. And I think the reason I bring that up is because hearing you, you're so passionate about what you do. And I think being multifaceted is something that is so prevalent in this generation now. And I think we should embrace it. I think our previous generations, our parents, grandparents, and so forth.
Survival of the fittest.
And a lot of them, like, my parents are first generation Caribbean, so their parents came from the Caribbean.
Are they part of Windrush then?
Yeah. So my grandparents came from the Caribbean. My dad's Dominican, mum was Jamaican. They came over, and then my parents were born here, so now I'm second generation.
Okay.
But seeing that they didn't really have the choice to be multifaceted. Like I know everyone's got more than one interest. Everyone's got more than one things they want to pursue.
Most definitely, yeah.
But sometimes necessity breeds, I just need to get things done. I need to feed my family. I need to do this and keep a roof over their head. So I need to just do this
That's
one
because
thing.
of the generation they are from.
Exactly.
They're from the baby boomers.
But
so
then if you think about it, it's passed down because then my dad, it was a little bit more, but it's kind of like you work your job, you do your job. You're not always going to love your job, but it's part of being part of life.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And it's only when I started Pennies to Pounds that he started to realize maybe I can pursue a passion because this has always been a passion of mine. Same way you have,
That's
passion
good.
for what you're doing. I have passion for financial education and providing accessibility to people. And it's only when he saw that I could make a career off it and a life off it that he realized he could pursue his passion. So my dad right now.
So you influenced your dad?
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
He's an influencer.
For that generation, that's a huge thing.
He's
to shift their mindset.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy, but he's 51 and he has almost 50,000 followers on Instagram. He does DIY stuff at home. He's growing.
Let me tell you one thing, Caribbean men. I'm gonna go off topic. Y'all can do things. DIY.
My dad can do everything. I'm not gonna lie.
I ain't met a Caribbean man who can't build or cook. Let me not digress. But there's something there.
There is.
The way they talk and their mannerisms. Yeah,
there is. But
wake him up. So he's got his own DIY. He's got his own page.
I set up from 2 years ago, and he's taken it in the stride. He's growing the following every day. I come home.
For him.
Like I'll call him. I spoke to him before we recorded, and he was like, "I'm just editing a video to go up tomorrow." Like that's him.
That's an example. It's never too late.
It's never too late. It's never ever too late, and he's doing so well now, and he's created another stream of income for himself outside of his 9 to 5. Because he works 9 to 5 as well. Yeah, but. That was a long-winded way to say it's great to see how you have such a passion and you can turn that into a purpose that's also going to be part of your lifestyle. And it's amazing to see what you're doing and what you've really achieved thus far. Mm-hmm. But I know business isn't easy. Running a business, having multi-streams, having different ideas and passions is not easy. I know that, you know that. So what has been maybe a big challenge that you don't mind sharing with us that you've faced in this journey because you've done many different things? What's a challenge that you faced during this journey and how have you overcome it?
I think the biggest challenge is getting someone to love what you do because you have to realize that if you're doing a business but solely based on reciprocation, you will always lose because there's an audience for everyone. And as much as someone can love you, they don't always have to support you. Harsh reality, because someone will say, yo, my friend still repost it. You're my friend though, you're my mum, like it. No, but you can't force a human being to do something they don't want to do. And it doesn't mean that they don't like you. They just don't have an interest in what you're doing. And that's okay. We all have different likes and dislikes. And plus, they're target audience.
Like my friends
this is it.
aren't interested in, not all of them, but a lot of them aren't interested in Pennies Pounds posts. Because they're not my target audience. And that's absolutely fine.
And this is something our society and generation need to understand that. It was a harsh lesson for myself because I was like, oh, I'm posting this, but no one's really, okay, is my business not good? Does no one like it? What's going on? So it's like I've dived into many things. Pandemic, I did Ohene collection of books. I started my own book club and I did subscription services and you get a book every month with a mug and it's boxes and people were buying and collecting it from my door and it was going great. I only stopped it because finances and it was costing me extra because obviously it was pandemic time, so sourcing out things. But I always knew, okay, I'll come back to this. Then I revamped to the writing studio, helping people edit their manuscripts and read their stuff, design. Didn't even know I could design. I just put myself in there because I realized for me, when it comes to time and the Lord knows, I'm still working on my patience. But if I see a vision in my head and I know how I like it, I will attempt to try at least to see how I'd want it. So the writing studio is there. I have the podcast, I'm editing, and I'm rebranding. But when the Naya series came, it was funny because I hadn't written anything in a long time. And so I became a born again and gave my life to Christ in 2022 officially. And so it was different. Things have shifted. Friendship, family, career, view, mindset. I'm uncomfortable because, it's not me. This is not who I know. Personality and character is all conflicted. I don't know what to do. I talked to my cousin, Bridget, amazing woman. She's also a publisher and author as well. And so we're sitting down, I'm talking to her about life and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even want to go out this day. This was a day I was having, as I call my relapses. And so I was just sitting down and she was like, no, come meet me in Stratford. We'll go out for brunch and then we could just talk. I was like, about what? Because I was like, I don't talk to no one today. When you're not going to be of any use to anyone.
Those days I need to stay at home.
Yeah.
No one needs to talk to me that day.
I'm trying to give you the warning. So don't come and say that,
Yeah.
So we sat down and we spoke, and God bless her, she listened to everything, and she was like, "Do you know there's a children's story in you?" I said, "Me write for children?" I said, "For what? For the where? For the why?" I write poetry. I do monologues. I write songs. No one knows this, but that's what I do. It's my calming. It's for me. She's like, "No, trust me. Your childhood and the things you've been through, someone will understand." And she was like, "You have so much in you, but you just keep limiting yourself, because why don't you see you're a writer? You could write other things." And I was like, fair enough. I was like, "Thanks for today, but yeah, I'm going home." And she was like, "Okay, make sure you get in." So I went home, prayed on it, mind mapped a few things. I was like, "Okay, children, what did you go through?" I was like, "You ready to talk about that?" Trauma. Ooh, look, don't close that, don't open that door. Oh, Pandora's box. So I was like, anything I do, I'm going to have to explain for it later, essentially. So this one, hand on heart, and I've said this at my pop-up, I dreamt, woke up, everything came out of the book. The names, how they looked, what they were going to wear, what they were going to represent. Someone would be like, "Isn't that your daughter? Isn't that your sister?" No, girl, the name just came to me. And I had to search every name. I was like, okay, Jacob, he's a supplanter, so he does this. Okay, Micah, he did this. Okay, Anaya, in Hebrew, that means God has shown favor, or God has presented. And everyone was like, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't even know what's going on with me, but I wrote the book in a day." And I was like, "This is weird." And I was like, "But God don't make mistakes, so let me just follow this through and see how it goes." I don't know. And then I was like, so this is where I'm like, do I call myself a children's author or a children's Christian author? So I'm battling myself in that, because the minute you label yourself as you said, you're a finance educator, that's that. Because today, cancel culture, people saying things. So whatever I'm about to say, I'm not going to have to talk on it. I'm going to walk in it and I have to speak on it. So I did that, and everyone loved it. People were like, "I wish I had a book like this. I didn't have this growing up." And I went to church heavy. Like, I was a Catholic before I became a born again. And so altar serving, reading in mass, you name it, I did it. So switching from that to now this book, I'm trying to give a book to people that as a child, you can see yourself, but you also can understand biblically implemented things to you. So through it, you know your identity through Christ.
Yeah.
So everyone loves the first book, Becoming a Knight, because there's positive affirmation. So you're going in the mirror, you're saying, "I am favored, I am loved, I am blessed." I didn't have that. I didn't know what that was. I'm an only girl. My mother's tough. She's from the survival of the fittest generation. Sis, don't play with the emotion. You cry and firm it. You're in pain, it's okay. You fell down, get up. That's how it was. So I didn't have the nurturing side of me birthed from the beginning. Although it was in me, although I can be very feminine, I was very guarded in defense. Always defense. Sarcastic, witty, rude, defensive, because that's how I could go. It's how I functioned. But when I wrote this, vulnerability. I'm opening up. I'm crying. I'm becoming soft. This is weird for me. Like, ew. Like, it's like telling the guy, "I like you." Like, stop it. Slow down. This is not me. But that's what the book did for me. And so birthing the Anaya series, it's not been easy.
I mean, it's such a testament as someone who also believed in their vision that I have funded everything up until this point. Obviously, we've had partnerships and stuff, but it's been me. It was my initial investment. My savings went into starting Pennies.
Your savings.
My savings because I left my job to do this.
Yes, yeah.
And I put my money into Pennies Pounds, and obviously it's grown over the 5 years, and it's incredible. I mean, it's bigger than I could have even imagined.
Yeah.
And
I remember when you first came on Instagram.
Yeah, but now my vision's changed, and it's going to be even bigger than what it is now.
Wow.
But just to see it get to this point, and I think I put in about £600 to start Pennies Pounds, right? And to see where it is now is incredible.
That's huge.
Thank you. It's incredible. But I completely understand you of sometimes when you look at friends and family, and I don't think I looked at my friends and family necessarily to be my cheerleaders when I first started, because I knew it was quite niche. I knew what I was going into was quite niche. And I think I'd already seen before, that whole thing like, "Oh, my friends don't support me."
Yeah.
I knew that was the case.
You knew
so
that
I
was
didn't expect it. I thought if you expect nothing, you can't get hurt. So I didn't expect anything.
You know what? Yeah.
I didn't expect anything from people.
I put my hand up for that.
Yeah, and only shared it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." Because I was like, I didn't expect anything from anyone. Like, I don't expect my friends to share it. The only person I expect is my dad, because you have to. You're middle. Everyone else, I don't expect anything from them, right?
Yeah. But you gonna share it.
Yeah, but me, myself, I'm going to share it. And obviously my friends do from time to time, but I think sometimes we get lost in the fact that you think every single post you post, your friends should reshare it. Yeah. And it's not the case. Number one, they're not your free promo. Number two, they might not be your target audience. And number three,
Speak on it. Yeah.
Some people just don't want to share it. And I remember...
That's life.
This goes slightly off topic, but I remember I had a friend that I used to work with. I worked part-time before I started this. And they had started project. And I was like, when I tell you champion, like I was like, if you want me involved, I will help you. Because at this point, I'd started Pennies to Pounds to some degree. I was like, I'll help you, blah, blah, blah. Because I'd garnered the following and they wanted the following. Bear in mind, no one helped me get this following. They wanted me to reshare it. So I reshared the first thing. I reshared the first thing. I was like, yeah. Cool. And then every time they posted a new thing, they were like, wanted me to reshare it. And I was like,
so every single post?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to reshare the rest.
That can be a lot though.
Yeah, and then they came back to me with like a voice note saying, I kind of feel like our friendship's different.
We always love someone. We love a friend that's, you know.
And I was like, I remember I went back and I was like, I can't recall a single post of mine that you've ever reshared from Pennies to Pounds.
Because now I can drop that.
Yeah. And I was like, by the way, I'm not saying it in a way that I'm upset. Completely
However,
fine.
You've brought the topic
but if you're bringing it to me, that I've reshared your stuff, I'm just saying you've never done mine. And I've never made it an issue because it's not an issue. But now if you want to reshare all your stuff and you've never done it to me, I don't know why I would do that. And also a big thing for me is that I feel like you might feel the same, but with business is difficult. And I know how difficult it is. I've been in it for 5 years. That when I have friends who want to start stuff, we had a conversation off camera where we were saying like some people start stuff and I don't think they realize the gravity of what they're starting. Yeah. That I've told my friends, like, I will support you as your friend. Of course. But publicly, I need to know that you're invested in this. Because if you're going to stop this in 6 months' time, it's like there's no point me sharing it. If you're not going to be committed to this, I don't know. Like, and committed doesn't mean you're not going to change your vision. You can change your vision throughout.
You can even rebrand the name and the logo.
But if you're just going to pick something up and drop it after 4 months, and now I'll publicly attach myself to it by sharing it, saying, yeah, go follow my friend, or go follow this, or look, this is the new thing, and then you stop doing it. I need to know that you're also invested, which is what most investors would say. They would say, I need to see some sort of proof that you've done something for X amount of time before I come on and do something. Because if you now say, I've got this brand new business idea, some people might jump on board from the beginning, but a lot of big investors will say, well, how long have you been doing it for? A year, is that it? I need to see more proof, or I need to see more dedication. What are you planning on? What's your 5-year goal? What's all of this before I can now come on board and publicly say,
it's funny you say that because that links to faith.
Yeah.
So someone would expect me the minute I gave my life, I'm going to be this straight Christian and I'm going to be, no, it's going to take time. I'm going to be pruned. I'm going to be purged. I'm going to be weeded out.
Exactly.
I ran back to my father. This is not going to be an easy relationship just to build. So you saying that, it's like, that's how the faith is. Yeah. There's going to be work. Of course. I'm going to have to learn. But if you're not willing to do the work, then there we go. I would rather just be your friend behind the scenes and support you that way. And if you stop, okay, fine. But if you want to publicly support you, I need to see a level of dedication that you've really put in and commitment. It's a big thing though. Yeah. Friends doing this like voice notes and messages.
That threw me off. And that's when I was like, I don't know if I can do this.
Remember, it all stems from environment though.
Oh, 100%. But I've always been the friend who will support you behind the scenes.
To the point where someone said to me, your stories are looking like you're a promoter.
Yeah, but that's
and I was like,
I do not do that anymore unless I really believe in like what they're doing.
I've stopped because she was like, no, because firstly you don't even push your stuff, but you're, and I was like, oh, but it's because I don't mind really supporting your brand, especially if I'm like, oh wow, I've seen you do your event and you've put money into this. Oh, I love it, and I can love it, even if I don't love it. I love what you're doing. Yeah, you took the step out of the 9 to 5 to be like, you know what, I like this. That's a big thing.
I don't even mind, but I think I can. I remember I was watching, I don't know if it was The Apprentice or something, and one of them, maybe Dragon's Den, one of them said like, you can tell from like talking to a business owner how committed they are. And that's why we said before on the podcast, like people buy into people. Yes. So especially in business, people buy into people. Yes. So if I don't buy, don't buy into you, but if I can see as a business owner and I'm having conversations with you about your business, I'm like, it's different if you don't know what you're doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I was at 21, I had no idea what I was doing with Pennies Pounds compared to now. But one thing that you could bet on was that I was going to make it happen. So that's the difference.
That dedication,
you can tell, and that's not an easy thing that not everyone has, but obviously it's very clear that you have it, I have it. I think a lot of people watching will take this, like, if you've got that dream and you've got that vision, it can be done. Yes, there will be challenges, but it can be done. So I want to then ask you, if you come to like the financial side of things, you touched on it a little bit, but what has been a big struggle for you when it comes to actually funding your dream or raising money for your dream? Yeah. What's been a big challenge for you?
I would say when it comes to, it's more, the brand is now more than just books. So there's other things that I sell with it and there's other things I want to do with it, such as events on the side. But just like you,
Can you show us? You got some here. Show
us.
us.
So this
show
is
us.
the first book.
Yeah.
I'll show it to the camera.
Lovely.
Becoming an IR. So this is the paperback. I'm still working on doing the hardback. But this is what I mean. Everything is funding. Even to get the hardback and make sure it's done the right way and how you want it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's money.
It is money.
Okay. And then I've got my positive affirmation t-shirts, which this is one of the characters. So I get the character, and at the back it says an affirmation.
That is so sweet.
You can personalize it and have a name, but all of this, it costs money. So someone could think, oh yeah, it's just a t-shirt. No, but I'm doing printing, I'm doing delivery, do you see what I'm saying? It's time. I designed them, I'm doing it, I'm doing the vision, but just there's no funding. It's a paycheck after paycheck that I manage, like I said, or a destiny helper along the way. But it hurts sometimes. Like I remember my second event, I spent money. I can't even say the number.
No, come on.
I said
pennies to pounds, come on.
It's true.
Come on. You have to.
I spent up to 2 to 3K.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Didn't realize.
Very personal money.
Yeah. It was accumulating because I learned from the first pop-up event, okay, you know what? Everyone came back. Venue was small. Okay, food was great, but it went very quickly. Okay, drinks, it wasn't this. Okay, so have this. I'm trying to bring a twist to it because it's a children's brand, but I still want parents and teachers and people from church to understand this book. So I need to make sure the event I'm doing, my audience, everyone is understanding each other. So I invested. I got a caterer to come. I got a venue. I got someone to decorate everything. It was money. And I was like, I remember coming home, my friend told me, she was like, you okay? I said, do you know how much I've spent? My heart is beating out of my chest. And I'm like, it's not even like I'm not good with money, because there was a time where I wasn't good with money. And I can say this hands-on. I didn't have the financial literacy. It was borrow this, spend this back, lend this. And I'm a lender, I don't ask for it back. I'm actually that person, because just how I've been raised, it's weird. But borrow this, give this back to you. Okay, are you a 10? Are you that used to stress me out as a teenager, because I wanted to know, how did I get into this cycle? It's not that I don't work or I don't have the funds, but I pay for the necessities, but my money is not, it's not making revenue. So then pandemic came, I got into investing. I wanted to learn things, assets, other things. Then I realized getting paid 12 times a year, scam. So what am I going to do to make sure I do make generational wealth? I said, I can start with this business 100%. I can see where this is going. But it was costing me. To the point where I was like, people don't know this, and I can say this now. December 2024, I was going to close this. I said, Midon, sorry, this is money. And I don't know about you, but going back just on your previous and how you got into it and coming out of it, money can cause anxiety, stress, depression. And it was affecting me. And I said that this is such a beautiful thing God has given me. Yeah. And I'm so honored He's chosen me as his child to do this. But I remember saying in prayer, we need to have a conversation here. You've given me this, supply it. Because I for the life of me, I was getting weak. And it's sad to say, but I was. Because I became and you see, writing, remember what I said was my passion. So when you make your passion your business, do you know what of a thin line that is?
You lose the part of the happiness that you'd get, because obviously I've done the same. And there was a point in time where I began to resent what I was doing.
Yeah, a little part of you dies with that. Yeah. And it's a shame. The kid that used to love, I still do, but love opening a fresh book and smelling it, or walking around Waterstones or Foyles, or going Central London and sitting there, I'm showing myself now, but just sitting in the library and reading, or waiting for a new book to come out. I don't get that joy anymore, because now my mind is like, oh, so what can I put in my next book? Oh, how am I going to, do you see, my mind is so open to my competitors naturally. I've lost that. So finances was going. I'm thinking, do I keep going? Everyone's like, push through, man. You've got this. Like, you've done other businesses before. What's an IR? 2 years now. You've got this. I'm like, yeah, where's your money? Because you keep telling me I've got this. Yeah. Invest in this. Yeah. I'm telling you that for it to go where and I need it to go, I know what I can do. Give me 5K today. I can make this. I can flip it. But when it's like you've got 100 or one, because I started this with 150, it makes you feel like, okay, this month we had maybe seven sales, maybe one pop-up. Okay, it's great. I don't know how we doing. Everyone's like, that's your first year. Yeah, but then you subconsciously compare yourself to other businesses sometimes. You don't want to, but you're like, yeah, but I could do more. And then to the point where I even started questioning myself. I was like, but I know if I wasn't in my faith, I would blow. And it's sad to say, sometimes I used to say that to myself because I know everyone else in the world who's doing whatever they're doing, they're blowing. But because I have a principle to live by, there's a walk, there's a certain way I need to write, there's a certain audience that I'm tackling and targeting, there's a trauma that I'm unveiling about myself and making sure the pain turns into purpose, I can't play with it. Therefore, my path is always going to be different. There's an appointed time for it. As it says in Ecclesiastes 3, there's an appointed time for it. So I can't rush it. So I've learned patience, I've learned tolerance, I've learned obedience through Anais. Anais teaches me. Sometimes I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, what would Anais do? It literally, I could be writing and I'm like, oh, so you can't just write an average children's book then. Forget the money will come. I started sounding like my mom, forget the money will come. And it's true, because something will happen and then, cool, I was in New Voices. I was like, how did I get that? But I invited them to celebrate 1 year of Anais series. Yeah. So I did like a private, intimate dinner last February in Canary Wharf, Pre-Gola. They were lovely. They hosted us in the room and my friend decorated. She was amazing. Her company, that billion company, she's great. Sydney was great. Everything was amazing. And I loved the room. And I said, I need to do this more. I like this. We're talking, it's intimate. Someone's talking about entrepreneurship. Someone's saying, just like this, the difficulty is there's another author here. There's someone who's a social worker. There's someone who's an occupational therapist. This all is the foundation of many things of where children struggle, of identity. I've got everyone in the room for that. So now this is my chance to show you why I need you. So I said, okay, I see what the Lord's showing. This is going to happen. It may not happen the way I want it or the time I want it, but it's going to happen. But finances, oh my gosh, when you link it to everything, your head can blow.
There's a lot that we can all implement when it comes to our finances. If you're running a business, you've got a side hustle in a 9 to 5 that we can do to ensure ourselves and ensure that we are building something for the future. Yeah. I think that's a key thing, and that's what I love about our generation, is that a lot of people are forward thinking and thinking, right, I don't want to be in the same job for 30 years. I want to pursue my passion. Maybe I have to work for a bit. And I think a lot of people have accepted that in your 20s, you're going to have to graft. That's just your 20s, right?
It's grafting.
It's just life, right?
It's a grafting decade.
Yeah, it's just part of life. You're going to have to graft. You're
and if you don't, your early 30s, you're going to have to graft a bit more. Yeah.
So I'd rather get it done in my 20s, right? Graft through jobs you don't like. Yeah. You're going to have to save money. Maybe sacrifice a little bit. Still enjoy, but sacrifice a little bit. So then in your 30s...
You get FOMO is peak for you, though.
Yeah, I know.
I don't. I'm cool.
I don't get FOMO. But even then, if you do get FOMO, it's thinking of the bigger vision. Why you're not going out this time, or why you're saying, I'm only going to have one drink when I go out, because you're thinking about the bigger vision.
Why you say no to that brunch or to that meal.
I would have loved to, but realistically, I'm trying to save for a house, so I'm trying to increase my investments. It's thinking about those things that's going to get you ahead. And that's why things like having the conversation that you and I are having today is so important for people to really realise that, A, you're not a weirdo. Because sometimes you can be made to feel like it when all your friends are going out and travelling everywhere.
Listen.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing the same because I'm trying to save for a house. Maybe I'm just a loser.
You're the one that always says no. Right? We invite you to say yes and you say no.
Yeah, but it's about the bigger vision. Yeah. And I think hearing about your journey is also very reaffirming for anyone who wants to start a business, which is why I always try to share as much as I can, that it's not all plain sailing. A lot of times founders online will show you the perfect picture. They'll show you when things go right. They'll show you we had a good photo shoot, we sold out an event, we sold out our product line.
There's stress.
But there is a lot behind it. There's been so many times where I've struggled for money in this business. And there's been so many times where I've wanted to quit too. Yeah. I've wanted to quit a number of times.
Oh, that urge.
I've wanted to stop this podcast a number of times. I've wanted to quit the business completely and just go get a job a number of times. Yeah. But then every time I've done it, something has happened that has kept me going. And like, there's a story I don't think I've ever shared on the podcast before. I was going to stop this podcast. I didn't podcast for a year on this podcast, right? And that year was for me to decide whether or not I was going to continue it. I said, either after a year, I'm going to keep going or I'm going to stop it. Spoiler alert, I kept going because we're here. Thank God. But in that year, I was going to stop. Yeah. And I remember I was going to stop and it was coming up to like the 11-month mark. And I was like, I'm not going to keep going this podcast. I'm just going to keep doing Pennies Pounds, just not the podcast.
I see what you mean. You were going to take up the... Okay,
but this is the first thing that I started with. I started the podcast first, then did the rest of the platform. And I remember I saw this girl online and she was running a business. She was 21 and she was doing so well. She became Lord Sugar's youngest business partner. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah, she lived in Birmingham.
I think I read on this.
Okay, she lived in Birmingham. And I happened to be going to Birmingham with my friend because we wanted like a little break and we wanted to create content there. And I was like, well, there's this girl. I was like, I don't think I'm on a podcast anymore. But maybe it'd be good to like meet up with her. So I reached out to her, didn't know her for anywhere, reached out to her. I was like, hey, like, I kind of want to, I think I want to record something. I don't think, I said, I don't think I'm going to put it as a podcast because I think I'm stopping the podcast, but it'd be nice to see what we can do.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, come down to my studio, like where she sold jewelry. Come down to my studio and we can record something, right? So I remember telling my friend, I was like, because I drove up to Birmingham. I was like, I think I'm just going to pack all my podcast stuff, but we're just going to do content. I'm going to use it as social media content, not the podcast. I'm not doing a podcast.
And this was meant to be your break?
But I knew I still running Pennies Pounds as a platform, so we still had the social channels. So I was like, I'm just going to use this for Instagram, TikTok, that's it.
Also marketing.
Yeah, but I was not going to use it as the podcast episode. I was like, I'm done with the podcast. This is just just in general.
Okay.
I got to her studio, told her, yeah, I had a podcast. I've stopped for about a year. I don't think I'm doing it again, but we're just going to do content. And she's like, let's just do a podcast episode. Let's just do it. Okay. So we recorded the episode, and this was the first time, by the way, we'd ever had visuals. Up until this point, it was just audio only. And so we did about 3.5 years audio only, and this was visual. So I had one camera. She was like, look, I've got another camera. We'll have both of us recorded. Let's just capture it so you can use it for social media, right? But I think we should just record it as a podcast. I did it. Then she had a friend who was also in Birmingham who was also doing really well. And she was like, I messaged him. I know you're going home tomorrow, but you can go and record with him in the morning. He's got a space.
You just did 2 episodes.
Yeah, so in the end, I recorded with him as well. And I remember that episode, I think when the cameras cut out, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a good episode. And then she was like, record it again. She's like, I know you don't want to do it, because I was like, oh, no, I'm scrapping it, I'm not doing it. So record it again. So we set up the cameras, her and my friend were watching it. But my first time meeting this girl, recorded this episode with this guy. And I was like, should I start the podcast again? I was like, I don't think I am. Got back home, started editing it. I thought this was a really good episode. And I edited it. I said, this was also a really good episode. And then she was like, oh, when you put out a podcast, I said, I'm not doing this podcast, mate. I'm just going to take clips from it. And she's like, you got long form. I think you just put it back out. Put it as an episode. From then, got loads of traction. People loved the fact that we added video. Still, our biggest listenership is still audio.
Yeah, we've got audio because on the go, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got thousands of subscribers on the podcast, which is incredible. But there is still a subsection of people who prefer video and will just watch on YouTube. I do
sometimes. Exactly. I'm working, I like it in the background.
But the whole point was I was going to stop, and there was things that came in, like this girl, her name's Marnie, she's now a good friend of mine. But at the time, I didn't know who she was. I just reached out to her, and then she put me in touch with her friend, who I did a thing with him, and now all of a sudden, that kept me going. And this is when I was like, this is when I promise you, I told myself a couple of days before going to Birmingham, I'm not doing a podcast anymore.
But then that's when I sit down and I think, God's so funny.
Yeah. I was not going to do it anymore. I said, no, I'm not doing it anymore, but I'll just go and record some content with her.
Isn't he funny? He knew you were gonna. He knew. Yeah. He knew.
But I promise you, everything in my heart said, I'm not doing this anymore.
You had no business to reach out to her.
Yeah. I had no business. I didn't even know the girl.
Yeah.
She came up like a viral video. I saw her on Instagram Reels, and I thought, let me just DM her. She probably won't see it, and it's fine. And then she replied back. And she's like, yeah, cool, I'm free. And that's how it went. So that's a lesson in there. Shoot your shot. Because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Yeah. I shot my shot with her. Wow. And now we're friends because we built a friendship off the back of that.
Yeah, networking can also lead to friendship, definitely. Yeah.
But obviously that wasn't the case. I just thought, we're going to record some content. So we're going to be in Birmingham, I guess. I'll find someone in Birmingham. And that's what happened.
Is that when I paid for the Black Culture Market last summer? I wasn't going to... So after the event, after losing the 3K in May, I was like I said, Midon, I'm not going to do this. I said, no, I'm sorry. I said, respect yourself. Like, you're losing money. Just stop. It's getting embarrassing. No one knows, but for you face yourself every morning in the mirror. I'm just giving shame. Yeah. So I stopped, and my friend sent me this. I was like, oh, you should apply. I said, every time I apply for I don't get it. I've been so defeated. I'm not going to get it. Then they're like, no, we'd love to have. I was like, oh, they want for the whole weekend. I just have to. So I paid for it.
And what was it, like a marketplace?
Yeah. So it's they're called Black Culture Market, sorry. And they usually are in Brixton every first weekend of the month. And I've been applying for about since the night it came out, and that's when they even started. But I never get a slot or no chance or whatever. So I was like, I don't know, is it Russian Relay? How'd you get your spot? But they gave it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, and we're in Westwood, London. Let's see how this goes. This is a big thing for Anaya. We're like a year in, right? I'm nervous, but I'm like, you know what? I've put money aside. I've purchased the books myself, created T-shirts, done the bookmarks, got badges, got the affirmation cards. I did flyers for anyone that wanted to take it with the QR code, got my banner. I was like, you know what? Let me go. I said, let me get myself my hoodie, got my girl to do my hair. I said, let me just try this. You know what? Go positive today. You never know. That's the day I met the Cabs family. Now you need to understand when I met Tay, I would have never known I was gonna meet day. I would have never known that day. I would have never known. Literally, he's just shopping by. And my girl was like, isn't that it? I said, who? I said, oh, wow. I said, yeah. So now I'm like, okay, so how do I do this? Because I'm definitely not a beg. However, I am a fan of your work. So I need to show this level of, decorum. So I was like, hi. He's like, hey. He's like, what's going on here? So we told them about the Black Culture Market and what. Everyone has something done. So like someone here was doing hair, I was doing books, someone was doing like gym wear, different businesses going on together, and we just all happened to be there that weekend in June. So he came and was like, yeah, I want all of it. I said, sorry, what? He said, every single one. Yeah, Mally will love this, TJ will love this. He was like, yeah, get me the tote bag for Tasia, And I said, what? I was like, okay, my first sale of the day. Do you know what momentum that built for me? He doesn't know what he did that day. Because I came in thinking this will be usually, I'm not going to get sales, no one cares. But that gave me so much confidence. I spoke to him about the books, I signed them. He bought each book, the t-shirt for all of them, the tote bag. And again, I could have just been like, no, he take it for free. But he doesn't realize he invested in the Naya. So he does that. We've gone to have our lunch. I'm sitting down. These are next to me like, oh, you know that you've been posted. I was like, where? What are you talking about?
Posted it as well.
So he's posted on his story and he's showing Mally like opening the book and they're wearing the t-shirts and there's pictures and I'm there in tears and no one gets it because I've been wanting this. I've emailed every content creator, influencer you could know. Even some to this day who have my stuff and don't post it. It's that money has gone wasted. He's posted, I didn't ask him. I didn't say anything. I just said, let me know about the book. If you can, leave a review. Took a picture of him, left him along his day. Because at the time, they were planning for their wedding. So I left it. But to sit there eating my dinner and then we're packing up and everyone's like, go and check his... He had posted, it was like, shout out Priscilla, guys go and follow. That day, traction on I got an extra 150 followers on my
amazing.
Insta. People from America were buying my book. Canada, America, Nigeria, Germany. I was shipping the following month. And then I said, do you know what? It does only take one person.
It literally
like what?
Like as you was saying that, I was actually getting chills because it
takes one person, guys.
One person, and if I think of every pivotal moment in my career doing pennies to pounds, it has been one person who, for them, that action probably seems it's not that big, right? It's quite insignificant. So like for him, posting a story is like yeah, they love it, move on, right? But that momentum that it does for you is so impactful. That all it takes is that one person. And I think just to kind of come back where you mentioned that you've reached out to a lot of people.
Yeah, I emailed,
But
DMs,
that in itself is something that a lot of people need to realise. And not just in a business sense, even personal career, that, like I said, obviously you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But genuinely, if there is someone you want to network with, someone you want to have coffee with, someone you think could push you to the next level, send them a DM, send them an email. And the reason for that is, if you send an email to someone and they don't reply, you're in the same position. You're no worse off, right? If they don't reply...
It's just like that,
if they open it up and they don't reply, you're no worse. You're exactly where you were this morning in the evening, right? If you see they've opened it up and you're like, oh, they didn't reply. It is what it is, right? If you hadn't sent that request and gotten approved to be part of that market, all of those things wouldn't have happened. And I think there's a lot that could be taken if there is someone that you admire in your career who might not be in your company, but someone else you admire their journey. Reach out to them. You have no idea. They might reply back to LinkedIn and be like, hey, I can do a 10-minute call with you.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. I've had people who, obviously, I think I'm just me, right? But sometimes you forget the impact that you've had. And I've had people reach out to me on LinkedIn and I'm like, we can have like a little 10-minute chat. And they're like mesmerised and they're so happy that they can have a call with me, which genuinely is amazing.
Pennies to pounds, but you're like,
to me it's me. And it's always just going to be you, right? You're just you.
Thank God it's humble.
Yeah.
It's good, humility.
But for me, I'm like, oh wow, just that DM. I'm like, and I remember people told me, I didn't think you'd reply. And I'm like, why?
Yeah,
because in my head it's me.
That's always my response.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Of course I reply.
My first thing is, oh my gosh, thank you so much for replying.
Yeah.
But you see, why are we in that bubble? That's the same human that is on the public transport with you, driving the same roads. But this social media bubble makes you have a hierarchy.
Yeah.
So it's like now content creators are coming across as celebs and influencers. So you don't feel like you, but you can reach out. There are actually people that will respond and be like, yeah, sure, what was it? And I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, they responded to 96. Okay, so what does, okay, breathe. Be calm, be cool.
Exactly.
Be cool. Yes, how are you?
Yeah.
And I have to remember you're also human.
Exactly, but that goes to show that if you send DMs.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to answer. Not everyone's even going to open.
Yeah,
right?
Because some don't even come the way the Insta's moved now. Some of you are in like the other box. I don't see it
I know.
it's general. So.
But for me, I check every single box, and there's gonna be people like me.
Now, yeah.
No, but there's gonna be people like me who are even bigger than me.
Yeah.
Have done way more than me. They've been in the game longer than me.
Yeah.
Who do the same thing? Who check their every single inbox, even requests every day. So they might still stumble upon it and be like, okay, that's cool. I'll put them a quick reply.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden you're like, this person's in my inbox.
That's beautiful to do it.
Yeah,
it means a lot to people.
It's so important. And I remember if you go back on the Pennies podcast, this one audio only, I had Leomi Anderson on the podcast.
Yes.
And that was incredible. And that was
like big moves.
That was on just from a DM on Twitter.
Seriously?
I sent her a Twitter DM and I threw my phone down as soon as I sent it. I turned off all notifications.
Yeah, because she's got a lap brand, isn't it?
Yeah. So I wanted her to come on to talk about what it's like to be a business owner. Obviously, she's a massive Victoria's Secret model, all of that, right? But
even her startup, everything.
Yeah, everything. But I just thought, let me just send her a DM. I remember I sent a DM, threw my phone down, didn't hear anything for about a day. And then she came back to me. She's like, hey, love what you do. Would love to come on.
Stop it.
But at that point, Lap was taking a break. She's like, I'm restarting Lap in about 6 months. So can you come back to me in 6 months' time? And I'd love to come on. Because then that's when we'll be launching.
Right.
So I did just that. I messaged her again. I said, hey, just reminding you, we had this conversation 6 months ago. I'd love to have you come back on. Like, come on the podcast. Yeah. And she was like, hey, I'd love to. She's like, when are you free? I sent her a couple of dates. She's like, yeah, I can do this time. And we did it. Audio only.
You just never know.
You never know. And I feel like this whole episode has kind of, hearing your journey has reminded me the importance of taking risks, the importance of betting on yourself, and the importance of patience. Because as you and I both know, nothing happens overnight. And if it did happen overnight, you probably wouldn't value it.
Yeah.
Genuinely, you wouldn't value it. And I say this all the time to people, like, if people who really want, like, I don't know, they want to have, I don't know, their house deposit, 50K in savings, right? If you got that overnight, would you value your house? Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. Yeah, I've got property.
Yeah, I mean, I would think, yes, I got
yeah,
the money
like,
quick,
yeah, I got the property, but eventually, it'd be
the
like,
feeling.
But if you had to graft for 2, 3, 4 years,
you're keeping that house.
knowing the overtime you had to do, knowing the things you had to sacrifice.
Every room deserves
do you see what I mean?
Decision making.
But you would appreciate it so much more. And I think that's what comes with the patience and the journey, that every milestone that we hit with Pennies to Pounds, my friends know I celebrate Pennies Pounds birthday like it's my own. I think I even do more for Pennies my birthday than I do for my own.
Though.
Because I know what it took. I know every year to be another year in business is such a milestone. Because many business drop, like, was it 90% stop after the first year? Don't quote me on that, but something around that, right?
No.
And so it's so hard. So to be in year 5 of a business like this is insane. That's why
something big.
Yeah, that's why I celebrate it. God willing, we get to 10 years. I will do something massive for 10 years. But 5 years we had a book launch. That's when our book came out.
Yes.
And we did all that. So it's just, there's a lot to be taken. There's a lot of things that we can take from hearing your journey and what we can do in our personal lives and our business lives. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. Where can people find more about you, the Anaya series? Talk to us where we can find it.
So you can find us on theanayaseries.com. Our Instagram is at the Anaya series. We are on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. My personal one is at Priscilla Ohene _ And stay tuned. Sign up to our mailing list. We also have a newsletter. And I'll give you a sneak little exclusive. We have an animation series coming out this year. Theme song shall be out very, very soon. So sign up to our mailing list and you'll be able to get an exclusive on that. I'll send it to you so you can let me know your view. But look out for us for that. And then there's much more there. Just sign up and then from there we can go from there. You can even drop me a DM and ask me. I'm happy to answer questions when it comes to writing and books. I don't gatekeep. I've been there. So just, that's where you can find us.
Amazing. Priscilla, thank you so much. And to everyone listening and watching, we'll be back again next week with another episode. Bye, guys.